So what's going on is this thing is just a total turd. The simplest, stupidest things all the time. All the time. I wonder why that rocks the cart so hard. That's a rock. It's better already. Hey everybody, here at Steve Morris Engines. Obviously I'm Steve Morris. This is the engine we're dynoing today. Now this thing is for shallower hydroplanes. Now this is a limited hydroplane motor. It is different. It is limited because this is basically a 30 over 454 big block Chevrolet.
Alright, so unfortunately last time we had this on the dyno is one of the coulda, woulda, shoulda moments because this thing had a lean sneeze and there was no burst panel in the middle part of the intake. So this is the lower part, this is like the mid part. And this is obviously not the one that blew up. This is the one that the Schallers, Justin Schaller, made for us, or for his engine. This is an all billet piece. But this used to have a just cast, it is not really built for big horsepower anyways. A cast middle section with no burst panel on it. So you notice this one has a burst panel on it. That's because when these things lean pop really hard, when they're like tipping into the dyno especially, if it doesn't have a burst panel there and it lean sneezes, it'll blow that manifold right off. And unfortunately, that's what happened. So blew the manifold off of it, and obviously we had to replace it with something better. But it did this to the harness over here. I'll show you, because when it blew it off, of course, it pulls the fuel rails right off the injectors, and it's just sitting there pouring methanol out of it, or ethanol. So this morning I've been going through basically every single wire on here, making sure that none of it is burnt through. And amazingly enough, it's just the casing has got a way lower melting point, I guess, than the insulation on the wires, because these wires are, I mean, practically untouched. The casing is all melted off of this crap though. And we got after that connector a little bit. So pretty minimal damage. You know, once it blew up, it blew that intake manifold off and I noticed that it was on fire. Like, things happen pretty quick. So luckily we've got a fire extinguisher right there on the side of the dyno room. So I was able to just run in there, just spray it all down. And I think we saved that harness because it was able to get in there pretty quick with it. So now I'm just putting the new billet upper manifold on, and we're gonna put this thing back on the dyno.
Has a spec piston in it, a spec cylinder head, which is a Dart 345. It's not port. It's that they are trying to limit the class, so they limit everything here. They limit the blower, they limit the overdrive, they limit fuel system, compression, cylinder head, pretty much everything except camshaft. So that's where we're at there, and we're working through the EFI stuff. So we've already had this on the dyno a while ago. They're good customers of ours. They do a lot of work for us, and we do a lot of work for them. So we're just trying to get this thing real quick sorted out so they can go racing for the very first time, hopefully, on this whole deal. So, the nut and bolt guys. Bolts and nuts.com.
Steve, how you doing, man?
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Good, good to see you.
All right, Logan, right? All right, awesome. So, all right, cool.
Look at what we have here.
Believe it or not, so this is the first time that I've gotten to actually hold and touch the nut and bolt kits, or bolt and nut kits, and this is what they look like.
That's the inch.
That's the inch kit. Oh, yep. And then we're talking about doing, so metric, standard. So like the drag and drive kit. So we started doing this when we did the giveaway on Sugar Mama. It's like, oh, let's have something, you know, more than just a t-shirt that people could get or do and make it handy, because it sucks running out of the simplest, stupidest thing on sick week, and you're running around asking somebody if they got a self-tapping screw.
Yeah.
Or you're running around going, hey man, you got a butt connector? Because half my wiring just burned up because the car caught on fire and we're still trying to drive it to the next track, blah, blah, blah. And so it's always a hassle. So we have everything from zip ties, electrical tape, connectors, electrical heat shrink connectors too, because I hate regular connectors. I want them heat shrunk all the time. Grade 8 hardware, just simple selection of everything. With the self tappers, all this other, you know, that kind of stuff. And you were doing a duct tape, because I wanted to have duct tape in here too.
Yeah, so Steve reached out to us. He had this idea. He wanted to put these drag and drive kits together, which is just a great idea. You know, this might not be something you permanently fix your car with, but hey, it'll get you by, it'll get you back home. You can throw it in your trailer, your trunk.
Yeah.
Don't drop
Or
it.
your daily driver, whatever you want to throw it in. It's just a handy kit to just make everything easy.
Yeah, so it's got a little bit of everything.
And it does have, where did that...
So, well, Steve, yes, version 1. So he wanted duct tape in here, and initially we couldn't fit it in there. So we have source duct tape and
Yep.
the kits.
Yep, so you'll have a little roll of duct tape, a little roll of electrical tape, and because it is really handy. Is this, what speed rating is this? That's sticky.
Yeah, 9,000 miles per hour.
Wow, you have the upgraded space shuttle version.
Yes,
okay.
right.
Didn't know there was an option for that, but okay. And yeah, so that is cool.
It's good duct tape.
It actually is good duct tape, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice. It's good duct tape. We didn't want to use anything cheap.
Yeah, I don't want to use cheap stuff because it sucks, and it tears pretty easy too. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But that is that is sticky. Yeah, that's good tape.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Yeah. That's good tape. But anyways, so we got these on the merch side of the site, so you can go to Seymour's Engines, just hit apparel or merch up there, take you to it. These things are there. So now Andy is going to look through our big nut and bolt assortments, and we're probably going to try getting something there because they can do a lot more stuff than what we're currently able to do. All right.
Yeah.
I got to get back to dyno in this thing. Thank you much.
Steve.
I appreciate it. And let's go over here, look at the rest of our stuff, and figure out what we're going to do.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm back now from the bolt and nut guys. Super cool. Make sure you use those guys. But anyways, so in Schaller hydroplane, to get back to this engine, makes this whole drive, and actually is even making his own blower, which is pretty interesting. So this is what we're actually testing. This engine has already been running. Everything's all done. We changed blower. We had it on the same manifold with no with no burst panel, and that thing blew apart. That was no bueno. So now we are getting back to this. So now this is a combo of mechanical EFI. I'm sorry, not mechanical fuel injection and EFI. So the EFI is in the runner, and that is doing basically individual cylinder trims. Now we can run it completely EFI, but one of the things that we're doing here, and we have run it completely EFI. This is combo because one of his classes allows combo, blah, 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 and all straight mechanical, and we could probably even figure out how to make this run straight mechanical, straight EFI, or the combo. So that's what we're going to be kind of working on. Some things we're going to we already have done. Other things we're just not going to really worry about right now. Then we got, just looking at that, okay. Then let's see what else, his blower, hat, all that other stuff. Like I said, it's a spec engine basically. So we'll just start a little twist on it. So daily billet oil pan and pump combination down here, so that's a really nice deal. Obviously dry sump, so it's a really nice combination. You can also see that we have our Justin built some connectors for the zoomies that they run in the boat, but I can't run zoomies into the dyno room because it just blows up in the ceiling and blows all over the place. So I need to be able to hook up to that. So he made these things here, which allows us to there you go, allows us to hook up to my dyno exhaust. So we're gonna get out there, start running this thing. And one of the nicest things, you know, some people have sent us stuff and been very helpful and sent us an engine stand. Really appreciated it. Sent us some other stuff. He even sent me cotton license plates. I don't know who sent me that. That's great. But one of the things that was really appreciative was Peterson, because I use Peterson stuff all the time. They saw my one dyno video where the dyno exploded and it put a hole into the dry sump tank, which I had just hillbillied up, you know, cheap dyno tanks that I've just made up throughout the years. And I said, hey, we want you to not have life be so hard or something like that. I said, hey, we appreciate the video. We want to help you out. They sent me a dyno tank, and this thing is Billy Bad Boy. I have the Peterson tanks in my cars. I've recommended them all the time. But this thing is bad because filter right here, which is awesome. The fill, even a dipstick. Oops, there we go. Turn it the right way. Dipstick, which is cool. And it is such a nice piece. So the filter is all in here. So you filter the oil coming out of the engine. So why would you want to have any kind of engine problem, anything, or even an oil pump problem, pump all that dirty material into your oil tank, and then suck all that oil, dirty oil, contaminated anything, full of metal, through your oil pump to the oil filter to get caught before it goes to the engine. So it really is a logical thing to put one of these tanks in. I need to try to see if I can fit a smaller version of this tank in my wagon, and hopefully maybe they got something, or they could make something that would fit and replace the standard one they have in there. Because I was pre-filtering oil going into it, and have even changed it around just a little bit. But I would love to have this whole thing, because that's a cool cartridge filter that's in there. I'll show you that real quick. So it's as simple as just doing this, and it's just really nice. So it is a much better thing to filter all your oil coming out of the engine versus filtering engine oil going into the engine. Now you can still filter the engine oil going in if you want, double it up, but it's way better to do it like this. So you get this really nice stainless steel cleanable filter. Bada bing, bada boom. You see it super fast, that fast. It doesn't make a mess. It's really nice. So anyways, let's get back out there, and we need to start working on this thing. So I had it all sorted out on EFI only, so now it is on mechanical with EFI trim. So we are going to start our work process on this and start dynoing. All right, so what I'm trying to do is I didn't set up the mechanical system. Somebody else set it up, and it has a spray bar, this particular one, which can be disconnected, connected. There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that so many freaking options on this. It's incredible. But so I didn't set it all up, so I'm just trying to lean it up at an idle. So it's not running on. It was set up to run on mechanical only. So I have the EFI on. It's just in there adding trim, and in order to actually adjust the idle fuel for rich lean, if you don't know this stuff, if you want to adjust the idle, this is the barrel valve. All right. So fuel pump, barrel valve to distribution block to spray bars, nozzles, whatever you're gonna have throughout the system. This is the main jet. This controls all the main fuel at wide open throttle. This is just an idle check valve. There's no high speed bypass in this. A high speed bypass would be would be on the distribution block, I think. Don't hold me to that. Can't remember. And that would be as soon as it reaches a certain fuel pressure, it would only maintain that one fuel pressure. So it, instead of fuel, because the fuel increases pressure as it spins faster and faster, so it continues to add more and more fuel. So it would just stop and then continue to RPM, thereby leaning it out because it wouldn't get more fuel as it RPM'd. All right. So, anyways, oh, I'm sorry. So what you have to do is in this barrel valve, if I want to change the idle mixture, basically is this is literally a valve. Like all the way here is all the way closed. Well, open, open, open. So you can see it goes open. So that's wide open. And that's closed. And as I close this more and more, it shuts more and more fuel off, making it leaner. So I've already done that a couple times, so I'm just trying to adjust that right now to get it to run a little bit leaner. I wouldn't mind actually having some fuel in it on the EFI injectors. Although I don't think it's not a problem to not have it. So I'm just thinking through all this as I'm talking to you, because I don't do a ton of these, so you got to go back through and think about things, how they all work. But I think that's right. I'm just going to work on the idle for right now, and then we'll make a quick hit, stab, and see where we're at. Alright, so I'm just going to go in, and the beauty of using the EFI system with the mechanical is mechanical has all the fuel in the world, everybody's got it all figured out, it's pretty good general deal, and just well proven out. The EFI on there, you can trim and touch up cylinders and do stuff like that, but it has all the data logging capability, which is a big deal. So I'm just going to download the data log on it and see what the O2s were, what the EGTs were, everything. Super simple. I can control, we are controlling the timing, spark, we're controlling all the ignition stuff with the EFI, just not as much the fuel. Interesting, okay. So what's going on is this thing is just a total turd, total piece of crud, and it's like, what the heck is going on? It sounds like it doesn't have any, it sounds terrible. Well, but it wasn't supposed to have gotten torn apart when it was gone, I think, and some, obviously it was, because the timing, the wheel, which the wheel is not part of the dampener. In fact, there is no dampener on this. It uses the belt as a dampener. So the when we changed the bottom pulley or did something, the crank trigger wheel probably must have come off, and they put it back on the wrong spot. So the timing mark was a solid 20-25 degrees off. So it was at 0 degrees of timing when we were checking it, thinking it was at 20. is no bueno. So now I'm just changing stuff around. I remarked it. We're gonna recheck it here in a minute and verify our timing. So I reset up a timing, top dead center mark. Alright, so now I'm just going to rev it up, just make sure everything sounds good. I didn't notice that right there on my right hand side it had taken a log. And once it takes a log, I have to reset it to take the next log. I wonder why that rocks the cart so hard. It's better already. I went way higher. Alrighty, now here you can see it's making the power, but I didn't realize that it had previously took a log and I didn't know it and I hadn't cleared it yet. So that's what's going on here. That was a lot better. It worked there. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it's back, and disregard the numbers because it's still got. Now you have to, because we're going to be working on a tune-up. The tune-up stuff is probably top secret. And so, anyways, did you show the numbers or no? Did you show that?
I can cut them out. No, I didn't zoom into anything.
Okay, no, you can show that part of it, and we'll.
Do you want to show numbers or no?
Yeah, you can show the numbers here. Yeah, go ahead. You can edit it in. So, like you said, disregard the numbers.
Yep.
Okay. And also, like I said, you can disregard the numbers because I haven't tuned this yet, and this thing runs. We're going to be running it at 7,500 all the time, and it's still really flat out there on torque, so that looks really good. But anyways, the simplest, stupidest things all the time. I've been pulling my hair out on this thing for a few hours now, trying to figure out, getting after it, and I got all this other stuff for trying to get this thing off the dyno because I got to put Camille's engine on the dyno, trying to do this thing and get her all rolling. Got to put the big black Hemi on the dyno, and that's being fighting me, as you can see. So, anyways, the rest of it's good. I don't have any problem with that. Let's see here. Oil pressure is great. All that stuff's good. It makes really good flat torque curve. That's nice. So I'm happy about that. That's all good. In fact, it makes it like basically the same. It makes almost the same. It does make the same torque from 4,000 to 6,500. 938. 927. Wow, that's pretty good. So that's nice. But anyways, that's all looking good. So I'm going to talk to Schaller, see exactly where they're at on everything. And just a little, it's always the simplest thing. So always check the simplest things first. Anyways, I think we're going to be good here. And I think we're going to move on to next stuff. Like I said, really can't show you the tuned up number, everything that's going to make anyways. So it's looking pretty good. I'm Steve Morris. Have a great day.
A little bit about us, boltsandnuts.com. We stock over 25,000 different products. We stock over 400 different bolt kits just like these. These are your edition. Everything we sell comes QR coded. So like our bolt bins, everything has a QR code. So when you run out, you scan that QR code. It'll take you to that exact item on our website. It makes reordering super simple. Even these kits here, you scan that. and it'll bring you to a list of all these items on one web page. You can order it by the piece, package, and bulk. You could buy one piece, a whole truckload, whatever you want. So we make reordering super simple. We only sell quality hardware.
Yeah, no, it's nice stuff.
Yeah.
You know, with yeah, that's all cool.
I think the response on these was from the Sugar Mama giveaway was awesome. Very good response on these. From everybody I heard from.
Yeah, well, everybody needs bolts and nuts all the time.
Yeah.
So we're really looking at, because I'm busting your nuggets, and want to get, you know, regular like ARP style fasteners, you know, little 12-point headed stuff, and maybe ANSI bolts. So trying to work our way through there. So a lot of times you only get left hanging. You need intake bolts or something, oil pan studs, bolts, miscellaneous stuff. You just don't have it.
Right.
And ARP might not have it in stock, or the warehouses don't have it in stock, whatever. Sure, it'd be nice to have a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to go over here and work on.
Yeah, and we do stock some of it, but we got to figure out what we do, what we don't, and get it sourced
Yeah,
for
see if we
you.
can get a source for it. Yeah. All the time. So awesome. I do appreciate it. Thanks for bringing it over. Those are cool.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got to see him. We shipped a whole lot of these before he even got to see him. Now, Steve did design these himself. We went over the parts. He made some revisions, and this was the final product here. And so I'm happy you finally got to see him.
Yeah, I know. After the whole thing's all done and over with.
Yeah, right. Well.
Yeah. Oh, and we're gonna do when you open this up. So you're actually gonna stick this thing on there, and then when you open it up, there you'll always see this nice little smiley face.
Maybe down
right
here
there,
somewhere.
or maybe down here.
Yeah,
it's
we'll move that.
It's gonna be here. Oh, maybe in the roll of duct tape right here.
There we go.
There we go. For fixing all your stuff.
Right.